She believed she was a long-lost princess, a child of the moon destined for a magical kingdom. But the creature who revealed her destiny presented a final horrifying test. To prove her royalty, she must spill the blood of her innocent, newborn brother. This is a story where fairy tales bleed into the brutal reality of war, and the most terrifying monsters are not the ones with horns and claws. Our story begins in 1944, Franco, Spain. The civil war has officially ended, but embers of resistance still glow in the mountains. A convoy of black cars cuts through the desolate forest, carrying a young girl, Ophelia, and her heavily pregnant mother, Carmen. Ophelia escapes into the world of her books, filled with tales of fairies and magic. Her mother, frail from her difficult pregnancy, chastises her, dismissing the tales as nonsense. But for Ophelia, these stories are a shield against a world she doesn't want to face. A sudden wave of nausea forces Carmen to ask the driver to stop. As her mother struggles by the roadside, Ophelia wanders off. She is drawn to a peculiar stone, an ancient carving with a missing eye. Instinctively, she picks up a shard of rock and fits it into the empty socket. From the statue's mouth emerges a large stick-like insect, a creature that seems to have been waiting just for her. Her mother calls her back, chiding her for muddying her new shoes. She reminds Ophelia of their destination and the man they are to meet. Father. Ophelia's face falls. This is the reality she dreads, a new father she does not want, in a place she does not know. They arrive at an old mill, now a military outpost. Waiting for them is Captain Vidal, a man of terrifying precision and cold authority. He checks his pocket watch. Late, he remarks. His first words a reprimand, not a welcome. He greets Carmen with a cold possessiveness, his hand immediately going to her belly. His interest is not in her, but in the son he is certain she carries. He forces her into a wheelchair against her will. A gesture of control masks as concern. When Ophelia is presented, she offers her left hand, the one not clutching her book. Vidal coldly corrects her. His grip is firm, his gaze unflinching. In this man, the cruelty of the world has a face. Later, Ophelia explores the grounds and discovers an ancient, dilapidated labyrinth. The head housekeeper, Mercedes, warns her away. When Mercedes calls Vidal father, Ophelia defiantly corrects her. Meanwhile, Vidal wages his war not just against the rebels, but against the local populace, controlling them through fear and starvation by locking up all food supplies. His methods are brutal, his resolve absolute. He sees the world in black and white, order and chaos, strength and weakness. That night, as Ophelia sleeps, the insect from the woods reappears. It transforms before her eyes, unfolding into a fairy. It beckons her to follow. Drawn by a magic she has only read about, Ophelia trails the creature out of the house and into the heart of the stone labyrinth. Deep within its spiraling walls, she descends into an underground chamber where a towering creature awaits. A faun, ancient and earthy, with curling horns and creaking joints. He addresses her as Highness. He tells her she is Princess Moana, daughter of the king of the underworld, who fled to the human world ages ago and lost her memory. Her father, the king, believes her soul might live on in another body. The faun points to a crescent, moon birthmark on her shoulder as proof. But to ensure her essence hasn't become fully mortal, she must complete 3 tasks before the moon is full. He gives her the Book of Crossroads, a magical tome that will reveal her path, but when she opens it, its pages are blank. The next day, her mother presents her with a beautiful green dress for a dinner party Vidal is hosting. It is a peace offering, an attempt to pull her into their new reality. Later, alone in the bath, Ophelia watches in amazement as blood, red ink bleeds onto the blank pages of the book, forming a story. It reveals her first task. A giant, venomous toad has been poisoning a great, ancient fig tree, and she must retrieve a golden key from its belly. To do this, she must feed it 3 magic stones. Dressed in her fine new clothes, Ophelia ventures to the dying tree. Leaving her dress hanging on a branch, she crawls into the muddy hollow beneath its roots. Inside, she finds the grotesque, bloated toad. It is a disgusting, sluggish creature, its skin pulsating. Unafraid, she confronts it, taunting it to open its mouth. The toad lashes out, but Ophelia is clever. She tricks it into swallowing the magic stones. The creature convulses, its stomach turning inside out, and revealing a heap of slime. Within the muck, she finds the golden key. She emerges triumphant, but covered in mud, her beautiful dress ruined. That evening, at Vidal's dinner party, Ophelia is absent. At the table, Vidal asserts his dominance, belittling the local priest and mayor, and explaining his strategy to starve out the rebels. He declares Spain, his fanaticism laid bare. He romanticizes his own father's death in battle, claiming he smashed his watch to mark the exact moment, a story we will later learn is a lie. When Ophelia finally appears, her soiled dress and muddy shoes earn her a harsh punishment from her mother. No dinner and sent straight to bed. Ophelia, her mother says, come. At night, the faun reappears in the labyrinth. He is pleased Ophelia has the key, and gives her a piece of magic chalk for her next task. But Ophelia's joy is short. Lived in her room, the book bleeds again. It forms the shape of a womb, and she runs to her mother's side to find her bleeding, crying out in pain. Carmen's condition is critical. The doctor, Ferrero, confines her to bed rest. Meanwhile, Mercedes secretly meets with the rebels, providing them with supplies and information. She is the sister of Pedro, their leader. Her work is a dangerous dance of deception right under Vito's nose. The faun returns to a worried Ophelia, seeing her mother's illness. He gives her a mandrake root, a plant that dreams of being human. She must place it in a bowl of fresh milk under her mother's bed and feed it 2 drops of her own blood each day. It will ease her mother's pain. But he warns her not to neglect her duties. The second task awaits, and it is far more dangerous. He gives her a final, chilling instruction. Using the magic chalk, Ophelia draws a door on her bedroom wall. She sets a sand timer and steps through into a long dark hole. At the end sits a horrifying figure, the pale man, a creature with loose, sagging skin and eyes in the palms of its hands, which it holds beside its head. Before him is a feast of untold delicacies. The walls are covered in murals depicting the creature devouring children. Her fairy guides lead her to one of 3 small locked doors. She uses the golden key to open it and retrieves a dagger. As she turns to leave, she can't resist the allure of the food. Ignoring the frantic warnings of the fairies, she plucks 2 plump grapes from the table. The moment she eats them, the pale man awakens. It places the eyeballs into its hands, raises them to its face, and lurches into motion. It grabs 2 of the fairies and bites their heads off. Ophelia runs for her life, the sand timer almost empty. She reaches the chalk door, but it has vanished. In a panic, she draws another on the ceiling just as the monster closes in, escaping seconds before it can grab her. Back in her room, the faun is furious. He tells her she has failed and is unworthy of returning to her kingdom. He abandons her, leaving her alone and in despair. Meanwhile, Vito's war intensifies. The rebels sabotage a train, but it is a diversion. They haven't stolen any supplies. Vito is enraged by the senseless attack, unable to comprehend a strategy not based on material gain. His forces engage the rebels, capturing one who is a stutterer. Vito brings the tortured man to his storehouse, ready for a night of interrogation. He lays out his tools with sickening calm. He offers the man a twisted deal, count to 3 without stuttering, and he can go free. The prisoner tries, but falters on the number 2. Vito sighs with performative pity, then brutally beats him to death with a bottle. Later, he summons Dr. Ferrero to tend to the prisoner's remains, but the man is barely alive. The prisoner has talked, revealing the doctor as a helper. The captive begs the doctor to kill him. With a heavy heart, Ferrero administers a fatal dose, an act of mercy in this merciless place. As this unfolds, Vito discovers the mandrake root under Carmen's bed. Believing it to be the source of her sudden recovery, he confronts a terrified Ophelia. Her mother, desperate to appease Vito, snatches the root and throws it into the fire. The root writhes and screams as it burns. At that exact moment, Carmen is seized by violent contractions, her life force seemingly tied to the magical creature. Vito corners Dr. Ferrero, knowing he disobeyed his order to save the prisoner. Me, Vito asks, genuinely perplexed by the defiance. The doctor's reply cuts to the core of Vito's being. For this, Captain, enraged. Vito shoots him in the back. Carmen dies giving birth to a healthy baby boy, now an orphan in the house of a monster. Ophelia's world has completely collapsed. Vito, now holding his precious son, discovers Mercedes is the spy. He captures her and prepares to torture her, laying out the same tools he used on the rebel. He mocks her, calling her a monster and taunting her. Underestimating her, he turns his back. Mercedes pulls a hidden knife and stabs him repeatedly. She cuts his cheek, marking him forever. He snarls at the girl before making a daring escape into the woods, where the rebels are waiting to cover her retreat. Alone and grieving, Ophelia hears the faun's voice. He offers her one last chance. The portal is about to close forever. Her final task, bring her newborn brother to the center of the labyrinth, now. Desperate, Ophelia obeys. She puts a sedative in Vito's drink, takes the baby from his crib, and flees into the night. Vito, groggy, but enraged, gives chase, his obsession with his son, overriding everything. In the heart of the labyrinth, the faun waits with a dagger from the pale man's lair. He calls the baby innocent, and mentions a pinprick. Ophelia looks at her helpless baby brother, then at the faun. After everything she has endured, she makes her choice. Him. The faun is enraged, but ultimately stands firm. He pronounces she will grow old and die as a mortal. He disappears, declaring that she will grow old and die as a mortal. At that moment, Vito arrives. He sees Ophelia talking to empty air, snatches his son from her arms, and without a second's hesitation, shoots her. He walks out of the labyrinth, baby in his arms, to find himself surrounded by Mercedes and the rebels. His war is over. Knowing his end is here, he hands the baby to Mercedes. Mercedes looks at him with utter contempt. The rebels execute him, and his obsession with time and legacy dies with him, forgotten. Mercedes finds Ophelia bleeding to death as she sings a final lullaby. Ophelia's blood drips down into the center of the labyrinth. But her story doesn't end there. A golden light fills her vision. She stands, clean and whole, in a magnificent throne room. Before her sits the king, her true father. The faun is there too. He reveals the final test was not to spill innocent blood, but to be willing to spill her own. By choosing self-sacrifice over obedience, she proved her royalty. She takes her rightful place, welcomed home at last, and back in the human world. On the dying fig tree, a single white flower blooms, a quiet testament to a princess who left her mark, a trace of magic visible only to those who know where to look.